Last week, multiple news organizations reported that North Korea was continuing with its nuclear program, which of course goes against the agreement that Kim Jong-un had signed with Donald Trump in regard to denuclearizing. Well, today, it turns out that Trump has given an interview with Fox Business on the issue of North Korea, and he's walking back some of his statements about what North Korea would do for him. Without further ado, let's listen to what he had to say.
I've spoken with some military men of my own, and they told me that North Korea needs to tell us exactly where their facilities are so that we can inspect them within the next couple of weeks. If we don't find out in the next couple of weeks, we know they're not serious about this. What are you going to do?
Oh, I think they're very serious about it. I think they want to do. We had a very good chemistry. We had a lot of points. We won a lot of different points. I don't have to go over them. I got along really well with Chairman Kim. We had a great chemistry. We really had Chairman Kim.
But do we believe him, Mr. President?
I made a deal with him. I shook hands with him. I really believe he means it. Now, is it possible? Have I been in deals? Have you been in things where people didn't work out? It's possible.
Okay, I have to make one quick point that doesn't have to do with what Trump said. It has to do everything with what Maria Bartiromo said. She spoke to military men who said that we need to know exactly where the nuclear. Did you have to speak to nuclear? I mean, did you have to talk to military men to know that? It's just so incredibly frustrating. We have clowns, taking over in the media, asking bigger clowns what they're going to do about foreign policy. Anyway, go ahead, Cenk.
So two parts of that. One, let me just build off what you're saying. It's not. Look, any rational person would ask, how do you verify the deal? You don't need to go to military men, as Anna pointed out. But what does she mean by military men? She's talking to other right-wingers. She's massive right-wing. She's about as right-wing as anyone on television, Maria Bartiromo is. So she's talking to neoconservatives who still want war. And they're saying to her, psst, psst, I know the idiot thought he had good chemistry with Kim Jong-un, but we still want the war. So if you have Trump on, why don't you ask him, hey, how are we going to verify? Because he can't verify. That'll expose that it's a bad deal, it's a terrible deal. Maybe that'll lead us to war. So it's like a parade of monsters. Pick them. Okay, Trump's not on the right side, but neither are the military men Maria Bartiromo is talking to. Now you get to Trump. We had good chemistry. Oh my God. Really, right wing, this is what you're proud of? Well, I mean, I talked to him, I liked him when I talked to him. Somebody that dumb? That like if you go into any deal, a business deal, foreign policy deal, and go and the other guy says, "Oh yeah, sure, I like you. Here, give me what I want, and just trust me." And goes, "But I like him though. We had a good chemistry." And instead of verifying to make sure that it's a good deal, you just relied on, do I like him or do I not like him? How stupid are you? And he brags about he's so stupid. He doesn't understand that he's stupid. Like he says that on national television as if like, what do you mean? I had good chemistry with him.
It's just, it's so frustrating. And he ended that video, by the way, if you paid close attention, with maybe it won't work. So remember, after the summit in Singapore, Trump was saying, we don't need to worry about North Korea anymore. Denuclearizing, that's what's happening. Everybody give me the Nobel Peace Prize. I'll give you his tweet, okay, his exact wording. He says, just landed, a long trip, but everybody can now feel much safer than the day I took office. There's no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea. Meeting with Kim Jong-un was an interesting and very positive experience. North Korea has great potential for the future. Now, for anyone who's furiously typing comments on what we're talking about right now, accusing us of not being in favor of diplomacy. We are in favor of diplomacy, but we also want someone who's competent to negotiate this deal, and Trump is clearly not competent. He's already screwing this up considerably. I mean, North Korea just continued, enriching their nuclear program. Why wouldn't they? I mean, what did Trump really do to push for a true agreement with a real timetable and real verification?
So let's take Democrats as an example. If John Kerry, while he was trying to broker a peace deal in the Middle East between Israel and the Palestinians, had walked away, or Barack Obama, the president at the time, had walked away from the first meeting and said, okay, great, we have peace in the Middle East, it's solved. I'd be like, what? After the first meeting? You don't even have a deal in place. Well, what's the contours of the deal?
Right.
What did you negotiate? I mean, that's a bold statement to make. That's a preposterous statement to make without a final deal in place. And even if you had a deal, it then discourages the other side from following through because you already publicly said that you got everything you wanted. So they say, oh, great, Now he's on the hook. In fact, now reporting coming in saying that the North Koreans felt emboldened afterwards because since Trump made such a spectacle about how he'd solved the problem, he'd be deeply embarrassed to admit he hadn't, so we can actually go forward with our nuclear plans because Trump will have almost, and especially given how obsessed he is with his own image, will have tremendous difficulty walking back those statements.
Well, look, I mean, I think that there was a miscalculation on North Korea's part. Trump has no problem ever, just walking back what he says or contradicting himself from one day to the next, right? I mean, he just did it in that interview. So if they think that Trump has the ability to feel shame or embarrassment, they're wrong about that.
You're absolutely right about that. They terribly miscalculated. Look, and it's very likely that they would have continued their nuclear program under any and all circumstances. That is why it was so important, and we said at the time, we want a peace deal. We like that Trump is meeting with him. But you have to verify. If you don't get verification out of it, you've gotten nothing.
Then all the gain is, basically geared toward North Korea, and the US loses. And the US loses because Trump did give more to Kim Jong-un than we got in return. And I'll explain why in just a second. But I want to show you the second part of this interview that I thought was extremely relevant. Take a look.
What did I do, really, when you think of it? I went there. So the papers say he went. Oh, meaning I went to Singapore. So we had a meeting. We didn't do anything.
Okay, so what did he do there? He actually did do quite a bit. Here's what he did. Take a look.
I went there.
He is very talented. Anybody that takes over a situation like he did at 26 years of age.
Really, he's got a great personality. He's a, funny guy. He's a very smart guy. So he's a very smart guy. He's a great negotiator. He loves his people. Not that I'm surprised by that.
Very few people at that age, you can take 1 out of 10,000 probably couldn't do it.
I think he liked me, and I like him, and I understand the past.
But he's still done some really bad things.
Yeah, but so have a lot of other people done some really bad things. We had a great chemistry. You understand how I feel about chemistry. He's the head of a country, and I mean, he's the strong head. Don't let anyone think anything different.
Right.
He speaks and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do the same. Over my lifetime, I've done a lot of deals with a lot of people, and sometimes the people that you most distrust turn out to be the most honorable ones.
So what did he get? He got a US president to go around on a tour talking about how fantastic Kim Jong-un is. Maybe that doesn't bother some of you, but it bothers me. And what he also got was a confession from Trump indicating that joint joint military exercises with our ally is provocative. Okay, so whether or not Trump is really going to end those military exercises, I mean, I don't know. Who can believe anything he says? We never know what we're going to get with this guy. But what North Korea did get was a US president talking about how fantastic North Korea's dictator is.
Well, the one part that he was accurate about apparently is, at least vis-a-vis Trump, is he said he's a great negotiator. Well, he got nothing but wins out of you. Maybe that's incredibly easy and it's a low bar to clear, but get the triple win that North Korea gets. One, Trump declares to the whole world that North Korea is not pursuing nuclear weapons anymore. Two, they not only get a meeting, which they were dying to get with any US president, which I'm in favor of, I don't care about the optics of that, right? But not only do they get the meeting, they have the US president doing propaganda on their behalf all across the world. And look, I want to meet and do a deal with Kim Jong-un because you don't get to negotiate with your friends, you negotiate with your enemies. But understand, he is our enemy. The guy runs concentration camps. That regime has caused the deaths of millions of people and the great suffering and imprisonment of tens of millions of people for decade after decade. It is one of the worst regimes that we have ever seen. And, oh, he's a great guy. He's so smart. He's so smart. Only 1 out of 10,000 can just get a country handed to him by their dad. Actually, anyone can. How do you look at that, all those videos, and think, oh no, Trump's really smart? If you do, I gotta stop talking to you like trying to convince you. If you haven't seen the videos and you haven't seen all this, okay, we could have a conversation. But if you look at that and go, that guy's smart, there's no talking to you because you're just as dumb as he is. And then finally, point number 3 is, North Korea is like, we get him to do this propaganda for us. He says we're not doing nuclear weapons anymore. And we can continue our nuclear program because there's no verification. It's the greatest deal in the world for North Korea and the worst deal for us. We're not gonna say it for the millionth time. We want a deal. We don't want to go to war. We're not neoconservatives. We want peace. But we want a deal, not a giveaway where we get nothing in return, because that's still gonna lead to war anyway. And so now the neoconservatives get to be empowered and go, oh, see, they did again, North Korea violated the deal. There was no deal, because your idiot president walked away with nothing. So now the John Boltons of the world are all over TV, and he was on Sunday going, he's not saying I told you so because that'll get him fired by Trump. But he is, in a way that Trump is too stupid to understand, going, well, now it is time for maybe a different course of action for North Korea. Yeah. So anyone who wanted peace, you're gonna get a huge loss out of the Trump administration. That's what we're afraid of. And we got nothing out of that deal, and now it is absolutely confirmed, even with Trump going, well, maybe we don't have a deal. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.